Hey everyone, it's Chris from KM Designs. I'm going to give a few seconds to let people join in if they want to, and so that we can get this thing going. Look like alfalfa. All right, let's get started. This video today, again, hi, I am Chris from KM Designs, and the video today is I'm going to teach you about a really simple formula on how to increase or decrease PDF patterns. First thing, I'm going to use my hullabaloo as an example. As we go through this, I will have sticky notes on top of measurements and on top of pattern pieces, just because. So first thing you're going to want to do is pick your pattern. And when you do that, you're going to need the finished dimensions on the pattern. This one happens to be 13 inches wide by 13 inches high by 4 3/4 inches deep. So unfortunately, we live in the real world and we can only choose one of these dimensions to use the formula. It's nothing that I've created, it's a math thing. So it's just something I always use, and I want to share that with you. So in order to compute or figure out what the print percentage would be, is you need to take the actual or the desired dimension, excuse me. You're going to take your desired dimension and you're going to divide it by the actual dimension. So pretty simple. So if you're gonna pick the dimension you pick must remain the same. So it has to either be the width, the height, or the depth. And that one dimension isn't the only thing that's going to change. The whole pattern will change, but you can only use the one dimension to compute the formula or to compute the print percentage. So when I go ahead and say that, when you choose your design, there are some things that you're going to want to pay attention to, things that won't need to be decreased or increased, and things that shouldn't be. So first of all, we're going to card slots, any bag pattern that has a built-in wallet. If you increase it or decrease it, the card slots are either going to be too big or too small. So there is a little more modification needed in order to reconfigure or modify a bag pattern with card slots in it. So I'm going to leave that one alone. That's for a whole nother video or a whole nother explanation. Straps. I usually don't increase or decrease the straps. I leave them the same length, the same width. I use the same hardware. If you want to change that as well, you also have to go into reconfiguring more of that information as well. So that straps and the strap connectors. Zipper tabs. You do never need to change zipper tabs because zippers do change in length, but they never change in how wide they are. So those are some of the things that you don't want to change or don't need to change. General rule of thumb for myself, and this is only my opinion. We have a Mr. Kitty on the side that probably will jump in front of the video, but that's okay. Anything that I increase size, I leave the seam allowance the same. Anything that I decrease in size, because usually my average reduction in a bag pattern is about 80 to 85%. So my machine has a mark for a 1/4 inch. So when I decrease anything from 85 and below, I use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If it's already at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, keep it at a 1/4. But I know some designers, some have 1/4, some have 3/8, and some do a 1/2 inch. So better judgment. Everything will usually turn out the same. That's how I do it. And as I go along, usually don't make any, I don't adjust much else. And I'm going to actually sew a pattern. So this is kind of the introduction to what I'm going to do with the hullabaloo in future videos. So when you pull up your pattern, like I had mentioned earlier, you're going to want to look at your finished dimensions and get those measurements. Then what I also do is, I don't know what everybody else does for patterns, but I have and they change. So this is my first bag pattern. This is my cut chart. This lists out all the pattern pieces, what their letters are. And then down here at the bottom, I put any, on this one, I put them at the bottom, the dimensions to cut, in case you didn't want to print out the pattern pieces, because there are quite a few for the hullabaloo, because the exterior pieces are different from the interior. This one actually has a separate interior pattern piece, and you can actually use it for the or separate interior pattern pieces from the exterior, and you can actually use the interior for an exterior if you want. So it's kind of like a 2 patterns in 1. So in regards to the printing and cutting table, beep beep, kitty sitting on some paperwork, I have created a couple of cheat things for you. This one is, it takes fractions and turns it into decimals, and it goes from 1/16 all the way to 15/16, and the 1/8 inch measurements are in between. So 1/8, quarter, 3/8, 1/2, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8. This has been created. Then I also created a spreadsheet for increasing and decreasing, and this one goes from 95% to 40%, and then it goes from 1/2 inch, and I go all the way up to 20 inches, and they are done by 1/4 inch intervals after the fact. So hang on one second, I need to get a tissue. Sorry about that. While I was done, I let my kitty cat outside. And then again, this one goes from 150% then down to the 100%. And I will go through and this is all formulas that are computed. So let's say I have like the zipper. Say the zipper is on the original pattern. I'm just guessing. Say the zipper on the original pattern is 18 inches. And you've decided with this one, I'm doing it at 85%. What you can do is utilize this spreadsheet. You're going to find your 18 inches on your left-hand side. And then I'm going to find the 85% up top. I'm going to come down, and it states it's 15.3 inches. Now, you have to remember when you're doing zippers that you're going to be marking your hole to cut your zippers. So you can either round it down to 15, or like that is 15.3. I already know that it's bigger than 15.25 inch, but you can check here. Here's a 0.3. So you're either going to get 5/16 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch. So you can make this, it helps you. So on this one, I can make my zipper 15.25 inches or 15.3/8 inch. And it should be exactly what I need for the pattern. So this helps you compute the if you don't want to use a calculator. Or say, like I said, 18 inches. If you're a math person, you can take your calculator and do 18 inches times 0.85. And it's probably backwards, so it's 15.3. So that's another way you can do it. Just giving tools to help those out that aren't math people. I'm a math person. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on the print side of it because everyone's printers are different. But I am going to point out what you will need to do when you go into when you're in your Adobe and you pull up your downloaded pattern from the PDF. You're going to go into your print portion. Now, I always predetermine what pages my pattern pieces are on, so I get those page numbers. I always want to print out one page first. So I'm going to print out one page first so that I can verify this test square. I do that just to make sure that the rest of it is going to print out the same. Then, if we are going to decrease the pattern piece, we are going to go into the print. As you can see, it's smaller. This one's 85. This one's 100. And what I've done is when I go into the print, the only thing I change, normally you have your custom at 100%. I change that to 85%, and I do print my specific print pages, pattern piece pages out. So instead of, if we want to increase instead of decrease, pretty much the same thing. I will go through the formula again, and we do this because people have requests for custom sizes. So say instead of someone wanting it 11 inches and it was 13, which came up with the 85%, say we want it 15 inches wide. So still going to do the same formula. You're going to take the desired dimension, which is 15. You're going to divide it by the actual dimension, which is 13, and it comes up with 1.153. So I may not have explained it earlier, but anytime you work with a decimal, you're going to move the decimal over 2 spots. And this one was 1.153. which means 3 is below 5, which means I'm just going to round it to 1.15, move the decimal 2 places. In the print custom area, I'm going to put 115%. But then that's probably going to click and pull up something else, or it's going to show you that your pattern piece is too big for your print paper size. So then you're going to want to click on poster. On mine, a couple more boxes pop up and it asks me, I think it says tile on it. I will, when this is all done, I'm actually going to edit the video and I'm going to pop up some like the decimal. When I do the computations, I'll pop up the calculator so you can see what I did. And then this one I've printed, I have to do poster print. Then I put the 115% in, and then it asks me if I want to do an overlap. And I overlap on mine because of the way my printer is. I do it 1/8 of an inch. That way then I get part of this showing here, and I get part of it showing here, which means then I can align these and tape these together very easily. So, anybody that's watching have any questions? If I was more tech savvy, I'd have my screen divided and I'd have my computer screen up here and I'd have me here, but it's only me. So I don't have someone on the backside that can do extra things for me. So the only thing I can do is pull this video down and hopefully pop in some pictures that my printer shows me on how to enter those computations into the in your print box. So I hope that this helps you out. If there, well, that I wouldn't say that it's probably an issue. Hi, We Quilt Studio. Hi, Carissa from Needle and Anchor. It may not be a problem from Adobe. It may actually be your printer. I've never actually worked with a more simple, I mean, it's Adobe Reader. It's just going to pull up what you downloaded. So if I've always had issues printing when I own an HP printer. Sorry, HP. But I have now reinvested into an Epson ink tank, Eco Tank, and I absolutely love it. I have no issues printing whatsoever. And I save so much money on ink. And no, they have not paid me to say their names. So if I like something, you'll know it. And so if I could be like I wish I could like I said, I wish I had another person helping me that could pop these things up and we could go through a print. And it could be. What you may want to do is make sure that you have your drivers and your software is updated to the most current version. And sometimes, you know, we work with what we work with, and I've had printers where mine would print color no matter what I did way back in the beginning before I even started doing handbags. Yes, it is the conversation. Thank you. I don't always have the correct language to put in there, but I do try to explain what I'm doing. I kind of like I've seen where people will print it out, and for some reason, the test square doesn't quite get it to 1 inch. If it's just a smidge off, the whole thing is going to print just a smidge off, and I really don't think it's going to matter, except if you have something with card slots. Or, you know, a smidge, you can move your fabric over a little bit if you need something to line up. So I used to be pretty anal about it being spot on, but from increase, I always decrease patterns because I don't carry a big bag. Been to the chiropractor. Do not carry a bag on your shoulder. Always should carry a crossbody. I have a lower back issue. So if I pack a bag and it puts me off center, then my back hurts and I have to get adjusted. So I do small bags. And I do them on purpose because if I do have to carry a big bag, I can just stick one inside the other. So, yeah, and that just, it's knowing the software and knowing the type of, like I use certain programs. I don't always know the proper way to do what I should be doing, but I know my ways around on how to make it work for me. So that's not always good when you try to explain something, but it does work out. And anytime I've actually talked to customers where they've had issues or they need help sewing or they're printing, and I don't mind popping on and helping them out because I would need to be a more visual person to like walk you through a fix. So, and I'm not always, I'm a fixer, but I don't always know the answers. So with that being said, are there any more questions? Like I had mentioned earlier, this is going to be a couple different, there's going to be some more parts to this. This initial video explained how to increase or decrease. Now what I've done is I'm going to go through and make a hullabaloo. This is actually one that's all in vinyl, and I just wanted something that was an original size. Yeah, computer is the best. Phones and iPads, I've never had them work. Thanks, Carissa, and so are you. That I can at least say about the two of us. I don't actually chat with a lot of other designers or people out there. I have enough going on behind the scenes that takes up a lot of my time. So if you've seen me in videos before, I have a shirt that says, I think it says raising my husband is exhausting or something like that. That's dead on for me. So, and again, if I need to do another video or I need to pop something, pull this down and add a few more things or add a section into this, I can actually do that. But But I'm learning as I go in the tech part and trying to get over my fear of doing this. So impromptu lives are my new thing. Anyways, this is going to be, let me get out my extras. So if you see in a photo with a yellow hullabaloo, this is the decreased one. It's all ready to go. And I'm going to pop on here sometime, maybe tonight and maybe tomorrow. I have to kind of work these things in between my rest of my schedule. So I hope this was very informative. I will be, these little spreadsheets and whatnot did take quite a bit of my time. So I'm going to put a very minimal. I hate the fact that actually maybe I will just put this on my website with a PayPal Me account instead of actually listing it on my website. I haven't figured out quite yet, but this isn't back on. Yes, it is exhausting. I am so much an introvert, and you just have to put yourself out there. We're human. We make mistakes. As long as we come back and explain or fix that mistake so that it's corrected for future, and as long as everybody lets us know we make a mistake, which that happens as well. So with that being said, I think we all are. Hugs to you as well, Carissa. Yeah, because I haven't been on Facebook much. I just been a lot of stuff going on in 2022, and it's not even over yet. So let's let you go, and I will hopefully schedule the time that I'll pop on. At least I'll give a 20-minute notice. Again, for those of you that are going to be watching after the fact, I will definitely I'll put the no longer live. If you comment, I will respond because I do get notifications to that. But I want to get this sewn up for you so you can see how easy, or where I run into any like alterations I may need to do. So thanks, everyone.